Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm back out. It's the summer solstice, so I thought, what the hell, let's go out for a wee school night, wild camp, and it's also an excuse to try a somewhat unusual tent, which I'll show you in a wee while once we get up there. So I'm just going to head somewhere that's relatively easy to get to. Should give me about 1,500 feet of altitude, and hopefully some nice views for the night. And it's supposed to get sunny later on, but at the moment it's looking pretty grey, a bit bleak. Just hoping that that'll improve according to the forecast. Both the Met Office and the BBC are saying the same. So 6 o'clock, perfect timing. Hopefully get up there about 7 and get some dinner on, get pitched up. Bit annoyed, can't find my cap. I thought I'd brought it with me. It feels weird going out without a hat completely. Not that I particularly need it, I would imagine, but it just feels really strange not having it. I'm just so used to having my cap on. Anyway, you just have to put up with my baldy head. So the last couple of weeks has been quite a heat wave here. High 20s, I think 31, 32 at one point, and everything's bone dry. However, there's been some heavy thunderstorms in the last couple of days, and it's not as dusty as I expected. It's a wee bit more damp, just the odd trickle of water here and there. But I've kitted up with about 1.5 litres, 2 litres from scratch, thinking I'll not find any water up there. So I'm just lumping it up with me, which, as you can tell, is killing me. Oh, that's warm. Ugh. It was about 28 degrees in Glasgow. It's only about 16 here. Amazingly enough, so much cooler because of the lack of sun. So I'm glad to say there's a fairly stiff breeze keeping the midges away, which is a godsend, and I hope it stays that way. I think it will get still overnight, so I reckon tomorrow morning might be a bit dodgy, midgie wise. They're expecting the second coming, the second wave, and if it's as bad as they say it will be, it'll be bad. Flying piranhas. Nice view of the north peak of the Cobbler. Gives you some clue as to where I am, if you haven't guessed already. I am 42 minutes in. Probably 15 minutes should do it, and I'll get onto a nice level plateau with a nice shelf, and we'll just pitch up there for the night. Oh, even though it's not that hot, I think the sheer amount of liquid I'm carrying is definitely taking its toll. Just this area looks quite good here, along this stretch here, but it's a wee bit obscuring my view off to the east. Quite good though for the rest, but I think what I'll do is I'll probably just go slightly higher again, but another 50 metres higher, and then along a plateau, see if there's something better there. I'm also considering this spot because I could see down towards Loch Lomond, up to the north, and then back round to the coast in the west. Not bad. Don't know, 50-50 whether I should just carry on up a wee bit yet. Look. Right, okay, decision made. I'm going to go up a bit further, just see what there is beyond this, and then decide. I'd hate to think I'd missed a really, really good spot, so go and check out another one. You have to be quite cautious off the path here actually, because there's a lot of crevasses, a lot of holes in this hill, real ankle breakers. Some of them would actually swallow you whole, no bother, and you drop down. A few years back we explored one of them and found some old army rations tucked away inside. So it'd obviously been part of an exercise or a hoof. Okay, I think this is the one. Great views all round towards the summit. Away over to the Brack, I think it's called the Brack, Ben Lomond, the Cobbler, Narnain, Ben Eam, up further north, I can't remember what they are, or northwest. Is that Corrie and Lochan? I can't remember. I'll tell you. I'll put it on the screen. And then away over to the coast. And it looks like I might have a spot here, which looks not too bad a pitch. Tail into wind. And we should get the sun rising in the morning. So let's go for this. Yeah, I like it. Worth the 58-minute slog. So here's the old tent I'm going to use tonight, which I don't think you'll have seen before. I'll show you the brand in just a second. I'll not bother with a time lapse putting it up. We'll just get the thing up. So just in case this wind gusts again, I've tied it to my pack until I can get the thing up. Okay, I have to admit we're on a bit of a slope. That's alright, as long as I sleep with my head at the door in that corner, I think I'll get a reasonable night's sleep. Actually, light rain just coming on, I can't believe that. So, probably good timing. I think we should get under cover or get stuff set up. The good thing about this assault tent is it's got a vestibule on the front, so I can cook under cover and store gear. Found the cap. It was inside a J-cloth. I'd wrapped up in that in case it was raining on the way up. So, completely forgot. Senior moment. Anyway, loving these pockets on the side. Tons of room to store everything out the way and it's not lying all over the floor. Yeah, you can see the clag moving in over there as well. Hoping that is not a sign of anything permanent. So what do you think? A Macpac single skin assault tent. I've actually contacted Macpac and... Sorry, I just missed that clip there. I think that's them all done. Right, okay. Yeah, I've contacted Macpac to try and find out more about it because I know nothing about it. I managed to find one photo in regard to a 2014 expedition to Mount McKinley. And I think this was designed for their athletes to do it. But that's as much as I know. As far as I can tell, it's a breathable outer. Normal kind of sill nylon vestibule, sill nylon floor. I've redone all the taping. It really was in a bit of a state. And I bought it for £100 off a guy on eBay, which was a bit of a punt. But when I saw it, I thought, Macpac, it should be bomb-proof even with a bit of refurb. So I've just blown up the X-Therm. It's tonight, actually. The X-Lite is away to Ireland for repair, which apparently can take about 8 weeks. So I've only got this mat left. I have got one that's been sent to me by a Chinese company, but it's a bit heavy. It's about 800 grams, which I'll use for me and my wife. But for the meantime, this will have to do for just everything I'm doing. Nice sunlight coming back out again on the summit ridge up there. I'm not going to bother with that tonight. I've done it so many times. I've camped up the top. I really just wanted an hour's walk, chill out, relax, take in the view. Yeah, not a bad view actually. And the clag is just clearing the mountains to the left of me. Absolutely pouring it down just over there, but look at it. Anyway, I'm going to get some dinner on, get a sleeping bag out and lofted, and any other bits of gear. Yes, it's an old tent, but for 150 quid including the extra, I've seam sealed it on the outside, retaped it, and used kind of, what's it called? Fabsil on the nylon. Resurfaced all that and redone the vestibule out here. So yeah, I'm going to use it for a couple of times anyway and see how we go on. I always love assault tents, to be honest. Do you love my Frankenstein taping of the vent at the back there? Not pretty, but it works. Also got my trusty down 4-class Trek. Is it 700 or whatever? I can't remember what it is. I'll put it on the screen. But anyway, yeah, you've seen this in many a video now. Must have used this for a year or two. And it is an excellent all-rounder for 3 seasons into winter if you're happy to wear a few layers and put a water bottle in as well. So very, very versatile. Radio Scotland. Right, just thinking I better send my position to my wife and daughter just so they know exactly where I'm camped in case of emergencies. Sounds like some quite strong swirling winds are kind of changing direction all the time, so the tent is flexing in different ways. You can probably hear that. However, it seems pretty stable as I would hope with an assault tent. Should be give me confidence for a good night's sleep. The weather, the clag is coming in again over the cobbler. So I'm on Ben Donnick in case you hadn't guessed. It's a regular for a lot of people on YouTube and a lot of hill walkers locally. Height. So you start at a good height and it just cuts down the time to get some decent altitude. But I'm a bit disappointed with the weather so far. Yeah, it's certainly blowing. Look how claggy it is over in Benarnain in the cobbler. Nice looking down to the loch and the road. And it does look though that it might improve from the west, which is forecast, and back up to the summit. Cold food tonight, and reduced £1.64 of sheer delight. Before it goes off, I kept it chilled in the fridge. It's been in the back of the car in the rucksack for an hour. But touch and go, we better eat it now. As you can see, I'm having a very mature strawberry pudding tonight. That's you looking at the needle in the cobbler. I'm just using my phone here, so it's very delicate. I've zoomed in pretty far, 13 times. You can actually see a couple of birds walking about on the summit there. Every time I get out of the tent, I just got to be careful of this edge, or not get lazy about it, or don't start sleepwalking basically. There's also crevasses down here. You see some of the cracks in this place. It's very much a feature of Ben Donach. I forgot one of my pegs, or I seem to be missing a peg somewhere in the grass, so I've used a part of my pole just to hold the side guys on in this one. Well, it's by no means warm. The total lack of sun has made a big difference. It's I don't know what it is, maybe 12 degrees if you're lucky, I would think. But the wind chill is quite. I mean, I've got a duvet on. My hands are still slightly cold, so I'm going to head back to the tent, retire for a wee while, and I'm just going to try and film out the door and watch the world go by, because it's not that pleasant outside at the moment, and the rain just came on again, as you saw, or you can maybe see in my glasses. So yeah, I'll get under cover for a few minutes. I can hear voices up there somewhere, so they must, I think that bunch of guys I saw earlier on, that's probably them done the summit, and on the way back down, they didn't have big packs or anything, so I don't think they're staying for the night. It looks like I've got the whole hill to myself. Wee bit of everything basically weather-wise. Rain one minute, quite strong winds, calms down, tiny wee bit of sunshine, but certainly not as good as they said it would be. Yeah, look how gloomy it is over here. Look, quite gloomy there. Ben Narnain's disappearing into the clag. Still looks pretty claggy over there, and yet behind me to the west here, beginning to look better now. So apart from seam sealing it, I added 4 extra guys. Well, they're not extra, but they just didn't come with these guys, so I've put them back on. And then 2 at the back here, which were also missing. So I've used my MSR guy lines that I had spare from a previous tent. And then these are off, I think it was a Rab tent actually, these black ones. So that's all on there. Seam sealed, as I say, taped on the inside all the way around. I must have used about 30 quid's worth of tape just to do most of the main seams and round the perimeter at the bottom on the tray. So that's all done. So I don't know whether to hang on to this or not, whether to sell it, or maybe just to do a wee prize draw sort of idea. So it's about 9:15 and sunset is about 10:15, I think. So still an hour to go yet before it sets. So touch wood, we'll stay clear. So it's got this very aerodynamic vestibule on it. It's not huge, but enough to get a pack in. I can still cook in there with my shoes and stuff. But a wee bit's tight for 2, but I don't want to really share it for 2. So yeah, that's quite smart, the fact it's just built in and it's virtually no weight in it. It's just very thin sill nylon, 1 zip, 1 attachment point. So it doesn't add an awful lot, but it makes a big difference to how usable the tent is. So basically this stretch of the A83 is the bit you'll see on the TV all the time or on radio. It has terrible landslips. This road has been shut God knows how often, despite millions spent on the work. And you can see why. It's such a huge and very steep slope above it that just gives way. And it's just landslips all the time, or mudslides or rock slides, and shuts down. So they're spending a fortune on it. Just some nice quality of light on Ben Eam and shoulder of Ben Narnain there. Well, that was worth it in the end. That was good. Right, time to retire. It's pretty cold out here, so I'm heading in, get into this sleeping bag and get a wee bit of kip before the sun comes up. Good morning all. Pretty wet in here. The bag's alright, but it's a wet tent. It went very still latterly in the middle of the night. Just hoping it's not midgy hell outside. Well, it's been a midgy-free experience anyway, which has been a bonus. Due to the winds, that was good. It's pretty damp inside. I think it possibly has rained during the night at some point. But too early for breakfast for me, so I'll just have a wee glass of milk and then I'll get my breakfast when I get back down to the car. Oh, I don't like this bit. Taking everything down, heading back to work. Still, it was a nice night. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. And the sunset, we got it in the end, just. It wasn't looking too good. It was very grey and very wet for quite a while. And windy and cold. Not so summery. That's the wind just died completely. And the midges are beginning to bite me now. But I have to say that's been pretty good. Not too bad at all. So leave no trace as always, and it's time to head down the hill. So thank you everybody again for watching my video. If you liked it, please give us a wee like. If you've not subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you did. It really helps the Google algorithms just grow the channel slightly. And I'm going to head back to work, so thank you for watching. Hoping to go out again next week and some more adventures to come. So I'll see you out there soon. Cheers just now.